All right, guys, welcome onto the call. We're so excited to have our guest hosts of this call, and these guys are absolutely amazing. This is a man that I've known for 20 plus years. He was at a previous company, the kind of the company that I've told you guys my story about where I started network marketing. That is the company that Danny was also at. Danny had a story from before that. He was already a seasoned network marketer, and that was my first run at it. But we had amazing growth. He pioneered that company. I can say the name now because I think it's been bought 3 times back. Zenga was the company's name, and Danny pioneered it into Europe. He was one of the top earners of that company. And so we kind of, since then we spread apart a little bit. Danny went and did some other stuff in between. But then I started seeing him just posting left and right about this company is amazing. That I'm with now. The 20 years growth every year for 20 years. They've had a better year for 20 years, guys. I mean, that is absolutely insane. I've never seen it in network marketing. And he kept talking about this company. I'm like, I've never heard of them. Must be some weird European thing. They're weird over there in Europe. And then the more and more I saw about it, the cooler I thought it was. And so at one point I'm like, I was on the treadmill early in the morning. It was like 5 a.m. and I'm like, I'm just gonna message Danny. And I messaged him, and that message, guys, that one message has created all of this, right? And so next time you say, hey, should I make that message? Should I send that out? Should I reach out to that one person? That one message at 5 a.m. on the treadmill created this opportunity for everyone, right? And so think about that next time you're deciding if you're going to make those messages or you're going to reach out to that one person. Because I wasn't expecting all of this. I was like, Danny, what is this Zinzino? You know what I mean? Like that's all it was. Like it was, and it created piece after wave after wave after connection. And you don't expect that. You don't know that's going to happen, and that's what happens. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. But I want to introduce the guy who has been creating opportunity for thousands and thousands of people around the world. This is Danny Wanzili.
Well, thank you for the introduction, Derek and Alexa and Angel as well, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Before we're going to dig in, I'm going to ask everybody to take pen and paper and take good notes, even if you will have the opportunity to re-listen to the recording later on and re-listen again. But before I start sharing my screen, an important notice when you said, "Oh, it's so cool you actually made your time available on the Saturday evening." Earlier on, when I came back from a sports activity this afternoon, I said to my wife, somebody reminded me tonight we were invited at a reunion party, and I completely forgot. I booked the party. I said we would be present at 8 o'clock, and look, it's 8:09, and I'm going to start a training, and we will for sure not make it later on. I completely forgot it out of my agenda, and that's fine because that shows where the priorities are. And Barbara, I think after being on the training with the Spanish crowd with Renzo 3 hours ago, she's now taking care of Maddox. He might log in. I suppose she will log in when he's calmed down. But Saturday evening for us is like every other evening. We have time to pay attention to good food, enjoy a little bit. Sometimes we put the TV on, some good music, but we have our phones at close range in the living room when we're not in the office. And sometimes we need to leave the living room and where we are relaxed to run to our office again, to send mails, to send a presentation, to answer some questions which are important to be answered from a computer and not from the phone. So it's all about that. And Angel was asking me earlier on, Danny, do you have like an introduction video of yourself that we could play or something that you would play before people get on? Well, I still have an introduction video, but it's not really up to date. It was a video they made from me in Zango, actually, when I was hitting 1 million a year income. And they made this cool shooting on locations. And the song, by the way, is fantastic. And I might play it at the end of the training. But we're going to need about an hour and an hour 15. And this is a training I do every Saturday morning in French, in Dutch, in several languages, based on my experience and what I think people need to begin to understand what we're doing and to use. And you will see it's a little bit of a mix of mental mind preparation. It's a mix of understanding the fast start process. It's a mix of the basic things you need to understand what to do to approach people and to start, your activities. It's all based on my experience. So what I'm going to do is first of all share my screen. I've put a pretty nice winter wonderland, as you can see. Might be Park City, on the way to Park City in Utah. I don't know where the picture was taken, but it's so beautiful, and I think it's starts to become that time of the year again in many places where this will pop up. This for us in Belgium is very rare. We sometimes have a little bit of snow. We don't have mountains. Every few years we have a white Christmas. Barbara only had one since she's living with me in Belgium, and that's now 13 years already. So can you imagine? We only were able to throw snowballs once. And that was actually the first time Barbara saw snow. Can you imagine? Coming from Venezuela, which is a country where it's like the whole year summer, 23, 25 degrees. They don't have the four seasons like in Belgium. But first time she came to live in Belgium, we had a white Christmas. And it was so magical. And she always remembers it. Why the snow isn't coming this year? Why the snow isn't coming? I said to her many times, I think we will have to travel to see snow. Now, for the people that will not yet be in the convention in Oslo next week, it's approaching. The Zinzino Worldwide Convention is in Norway, Oslo. Derek, Alexa, Dave, Dean and his wife, and other people, they will for sure see snow there. Because in the north of Europe, during this time already, early October, it's pretty cold, it's icy, it's snow, and we're going to see some of it. So, not a problem at all. Now, I always start my training and my presentation by going back to a slide that I use in my weekly business presentation. So, you guys haven't seen my weekly normal BOM, Business Opportunity Meeting presentation yet. So it might be a little bit difficult, but I always tend to go back to this guy. And I'm sure that some of the networkers here in the room have seen this gentleman, heard about it, and maybe even read a couple of his books. Paul Zane Pilzer was, in the beginning of the 2000s, a best-selling author. He's an economist, and he had some predictions to make. He actually talked about the wellness industry and what he saw a little bit like Nostradamus in the future. And he said, if you are able to identify a serious problem that affects a lot of people, you could find or create a cost-effective solution to this problem and stay ahead of the competition, because sooner or later you will be copied. You will have gold in your hands. Now, we for sure the last couple of years have seen and lived a serious problem. I remember 2021, COVID, we were almost paralyzed. We were prisoners in our own home. The people like myself who weren't vaccinated, we weren't able to go inside of restaurants. We weren't able to travel almost anymore, or we needed to be tested. And what we saw though during those years is that we were educated and even taught up to a subconscious level to be tested over and over again for our own safety. And people did it because they felt the danger, they had fear, or they wanted to continue to live like before. So myself, I think I was tested 150 times over that period of 2 years, because almost every time I had to jump in a plane, change connecting flights, arrive in a local airport in Berlin, in Poland, I was everywhere. Every time I hit the floor, they were testing me. And 3 days later, where I was staying in the hotel, another test. 7 days later, another test. I went to Hungary on a short trip for a meeting, and in a period of 7 days, I was tested 4 times. So in the beginning, you all might remember that little stick in the nose was a little bit, unpleasant feeling. But at the end, I got used to it, to be honest. And I believe, because of that also, that this will become more and more common. Test yourself, find out what is your status. Today, you all know that there are self-tests for Discover COVID. If you feel weak, so we don't need to run to the doctor anymore and get our samples sent to a laboratory. We can test ourselves. Now, I think that looking at that, Zinzino has made a step in the right direction. And if you think about the serious problem, well, I think 97% of the world population is a serious problem. You know, the deficiency is enormous and the imbalance is enormous. And we can solve that within a 4 month period with a test before and after. We will show, and it worked for 95% of the people. Now, most people, and I see you looking, some of you on the camera, will say, yeah, but who are the 5% where it doesn't work? Because that's how we think in our brain. We don't think about the 95 where it works. We think about the 5% where it doesn't work. Well, that's people like me. I hadn't listened half to the explanation of Sven on how much oil I needed to take. Because on average, when you're 70, 80 kilos, which is the average, you need about 10 milliliters, 10 ml. But if you're 1 meter 90 and you weigh 95 kilos like myself, you need like 15 milliliters. I hadn't heard that. I just heard take a spoon a day and you will be okay. And I kept also all my bad habits because I wanted to test the system. I'm always a little bit of a revolutionary guy. When they explain me that this is going to work, I want to test it to the extreme way. So I didn't change any of my bad habits consuming omega-6. And after 4 months, I wasn't completely imbalanced. I was at 6.2 to 1, which was an enormous step in the right direction coming from 18 to 1. I was 18 to 1 my first test, and after 4 months, 6 to 1. Now, it took me another 4 months to be in balance, but it worked. So at the end, it works for everyone. It might be a little bit slower for some people. Now, thinking of the cost, the balance oil, 42 euros a month for a subscription. That's about $46, I believe, $46 to $48. That's to me a no-brainer to stay in shape, to have a great health. And if you know the information we send out to people about what omega-6 deficiency or the imbalance does to your health and what the risks are, you know, this is less than a coffee a day. You shouldn't even think about it, you know, because to me, it was a shock to find out that I've before never had heard of an omega-6 rebalance. Being in the industry for 32 years, in the nutritional space for 32 years, I had never anybody talking about this. And when I found out what impact it has on health, what are the risks, what are the diseases you could attract by not being in balance, I was blown away. I was even angry. I said, why have nobody talked to me about this? But 42 euros to get in balance is a no-brainer. And the company, to me, has 10 years, you know, is 10 years ahead, even light years ahead when it comes to the competition. Now, remember, Paul Zane Pizzler wrote those books. I read two of those books 20 years ago. And his prediction of what he said comes pretty close. Identify a serious problem. Well, I think 97% of the world population, we can call that a pandemic. You know, find or create a solution. Cost effective. What does that mean? Affordable for everyone. Because there are so many products out there, and from time to time we see it in the news being covered about a child that has a rare disease and it costs $1 million for an injection or to get the cure. People from Europe need to travel to America to be treated because it's only there, and they have to sell their houses. Well, that's not a business model. But like I said, $48. If you really choose and you put your priorities straight, you can use that product. So I encourage you, if you still find a couple of those books, to read them, because of course it's historic, it's going back in time, but it's so fun to see that, yeah, this man hit the nail pretty good. Now, for the people that don't know me, and Derek gave already a little bit of an introduction, I'm from Belgium. My wife is from Venezuela. We speak 5 languages, Spanish, English, Dutch, French, and German. I understand a little bit, well, pretty good Italian, let's call it like that, but I don't speak it. And when I try to speak Italian, I sometimes mix it with Spanish. And when I try to speak Spanish, I sometimes use Italian words, we mingle it. But I'm now 34 years in this industry. My wife, 12. She's a lawyer. She has a law degree, but she stepped away from that profession because the only thing she saw was negativity. As a lawyer, you don't see many positive cases you need to defend when it comes to to the case. So network marketing for her was also a blessing. And myself, I have been the last 34 years blessed to travel to more than 90 countries worldwide. I have been working with people of different cultures, different religions, different languages in in almost the whole world. And I hope to add a few more countries in the next 10, 20 years to come. Presentations like today, I've done literally thousands and thousands and thousands. During COVID, we had to close our own office. We had to step up. And I made a commitment to myself that I would do 3 presentations a day as long as COVID would be there. So in 2 years, I did 3 presentations a day, 700, more than 700 days consecutive. So only in COVID, I did more than 2,000 business presentations from home, just as a commitment. So with hotel presentations as a speaker, I said 10,000 is not even a brainer. It's way beyond that. But we did pretty well. We built huge teams. And the fact that we built huge teams, and Derek said I brought actually Zengo to Europe. I launched them on the European market, and Zengo went on to do hundreds of millions in sales over the next decade when we were here. But I was pretty lucky that I understood in my early days of network marketing something very important. In network marketing, you have a few fundamentals that only if you master them, it would make all the difference between your success or your failure. Consider prospecting. More important, even, inviting them to come and see and listen to a presentation. Presenting the sector, the industry, the company, the products, the compensation plan. That has never been easy, especially when you're new in the business. And it's with these fundamentals that new distributors, new partners struggle the most, even if they are very enthusiastic and motivating in the beginning. But 20 years ago, it could be 25 years ago, I created my own presentation and training platform. Let's call it a system at the time. It was the beginnings of the internet. And I saw pretty rapidly that the internet was going to be important. And it allowed me to recruit over a period of 2 years 52,000 people in my team with less effort than the 10 previous years before. When I was doing it old school only, using technology combined with effort, with work, allow me to create massive teams. And it needs to be easy to use. So what we created, and I will come to that a little bit later on, is a structure, a system that is easy to use. And I call it unite your DMO, your daily method of operation, with a proven system. Because a system is only as good as you're going to use it. Your day-to-day routine, your habits need to be plugged and in synergy with that proven system. Now, the new version of that platform, I was very happy that Sven, who is, a legend in the industry, he had set up when I joined now this month, 2 years ago, Zinzino. I joined Zinzino in September 2023. When I joined Zinzino, I saw that he had already a platform, and the only thing I had to do was use what he had made and give my own twist to some things and add some of the parts that I saw, well, I would like to have that too for my people available. Now, why do we have a daily method of operation, or you need one? Why do we have a system? Well, first of all, most people want you to do the work. When you sponsor them, they're actually expecting that you're going to work for them, not the other way around, or work together. Most people, myself included, when I got started, are followers. They are not yet leaders. They have to become leaders, and some will never be. Most people don't want to work hard. I'm not going to say they're lazy. Some are. But they don't want to work hard because they all play the lottery, or in Europe now it's called the Euro Millions. Today, a Belgian guy won 130 million. That's about $100 million. He will be very happy. But most people play the lottery, and the first thing when you ask them if you would win, what you would do, they say stop working, because everybody apparently hates working. Barbara asked me the question, what if we would win that 130 million? What would you do? I said exactly the same as I'm doing now, because I love what I'm doing. We would probably take a day off a little bit more often. We would step on an airplane a little bit more and work from another location or another beach. But I would still be doing what I do, because network marketing has really changed my life so much, and I will come to that a little bit later. It changed everything. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I hope you can answer them while I'm asking them and write them down in the chat. Uh, Questions that will make you reflect. So, first series of questions. Are you sure 100% when you have the best products on the planet that you will sell them? Everybody else will sell them, and you will make millions of turnover in sales with those products. Are you 100% sure about that? That's my first series of questions. Now, the second series of questions is, are you 100% sure when you have the best payment plan, compensation plan, reward system, that you will recruit everyone you talk to? You are going to build thousands of distributors in your downline, and you are going to create a massive residual passive income. Are you sure 100% about that? And the third series of questions, and I used the picture of Orion and Hilde, are you sure more than ever when you have the best leadership, people will listen, people will learn, and people will follow you? Well, based on my experience of the last 34 years, and I don't want to be a game breaker here, but my experience on all those questions is absolutely not. And the reason is pretty simple. People use too much excuses. You know, people use emergency exits, I call them. And one of these common phrases that they all use, I can't believe it. So they're not telling you in your face that you are a liar when you're explaining this something. They just say, I can't believe it, which is pretty much the same as you being a liar, because otherwise they would believe you. But they say it a little bit with a deflection. And why are they doing this? Well, the next one is as good. It's too good to be true, or it sounds too good to be true. Who has heard that one? Almost everyone. And this is what most people believe. It's easier than making excuses. It's easier to get involved. It's easier to blame someone else when you're not succeeding. It's easier than failing. So I won't start. I can't believe it. It's good to be true. And my grandfather used to say, if it's good to be too good to be true, my grandson, often it is a scam. And I heard that today on the Belgian radio about a scam that is running an investment scam. And the police are behind the guys, and they dropped into 10 houses in Brussels, arresting people with one of those crypto shaggy deals going around. Now, if that is the case, we have a hurdle to take, because we need to cut out these excuses from people. And I can tell you that the Zinzino system is unique. It works. It's scientifically proven, and it couldn't be proven better than with a blood test. And on top of that, we show it with a test before and after that we solve the problem. It solves the problem of 97% of the worldwide population to come, even if they don't know it yet, they have a problem. And we don't need to sell a product. We don't go out to sell a bottle of vitamins with capsules or a powder or a drink. We go out to test people. Now, I understand that many of you people have experience. You were all in Truvy, you still are a little bit, You're still in one back office, you're flowing in the other one, you're going to make money there, soon money there, the fast start. You can eat already from 2 cakes now. But I also know, working with people before, that like myself, when I found out what network marketing was, free enterprise, I fell in love. I said, this is my escape out of the rat race, out of my job. This is going to give me the freedom and enough money so I can be my own boss. But with that came also a little bit, you have to employ yourself. And I wanted to do my own thing. From a young age, I was already a rebellion. I never listened to my mother and my father. I was not even 15 years old when I went to live in a bachelor studio to study sports school 100 kilometers away from my parents. I only went back in the weekends home, most of the times to do my dirty laundry, and get back on the train for the next week. But I was a rebellion, and I wanted to do the things my way. But I had a mentor in my first company that was making so much money, which blew me away. And when I asked him the question, would I be able to make that money the same way, or the amount that you are making, would that be possible for me without any experience? He said, of course, there's one condition. You have to do what I do without any questions asked. And because the money was so big, I said yes. I'm not even going to reflect. And he invited me the next day into his office in Brussels and he started to do the training. But as soon as he started to do the training, I started already to think, yeah, but am I going to do that? I would do it a little bit different, even without any experience. We all have that. We all bump into people that we sponsor and they want to do their own thing. And I say, great. Are you ready for this? Have you ever done it before? Because if somebody wants to make 5 or 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month or 500,000 a month, you know, have you done it before? If you tell me I've made 500,000 a month in my previous company, well, I'm going to let you free, my friend. You can do whatever you want. You did something pretty good, but Zinzino is not selling products and there's a different concept. So it might be that you were an expert where you came from, but you still have to learn a few things. Everybody said to me the compensation plan looks pretty difficult. Well, it's not difficult, it's complex and it's ingenious. And you will find out in a couple of months that you will laugh and play with it. But today, you are thinking, calculating like I did for 4 months. But what I did, I trusted my sponsor Sven. I trusted his sponsor, Urian, the founder. I only have two uplines, pretty good uplines. And I said, I'm going to have a leap of faith. I jump in it and I will listen to them. And I'm not going to break my head about certain things in the plan that today I don't catch immediately. Now, I compare it with this train. Somebody is writing a little bit on the slides I see. Somebody's testing some red markers. So what I did is I tell people, listen, the train is on tracks for a certain reason. It's not a car, it's not a bike, it's a train. It runs on tracks. And the reason is that will bring the train to the next station, to the next stop. Now, you can take the train off the tracks, of course, and it's free, but it's going nowhere. It will be lost. Being free, it will be lost. And that's what I see with a lot of distributors that are released too early, that are free, they think, but they are going nowhere and they're lost. So to the new people that have never reached the heights they wanted to reach, I ask you, follow the leaders you have, follow your uplines. They only have the best intentions for itself. And we as uplines will guide you because this system of Zinzino is so ingenious, that it's a positive thing for everybody. Here, you often hear in network marketing that, oh, I got blocked by my sponsor. He did something so my check was less than before. You can't do that in Zinzino. There is no way you can boycott your own team in Zinzino because all volume counts. And they have an express start book that you get with your ultimate pack. It also exists in the back office. In many languages, you have to dig. Voila, Angel has hers already. This is the first time I see a tool that is so complete, that is so well taught in the industry, and I'm 34 years in. And I said to myself, how is it possible that they created this book, which is not an easy piece, it's pretty thick, but it explains the business from A to Z entirely. Now, don't start with the last page, like most people do when they read a novel. They want to get the clue before so they don't waste their time. That's not a good idea here. Start with the beginning, go through page, do the exercises. And if you don't catch something really good, there are even QR codes inside that you can scan and that will lead you to a video that explains it visually even better. So this is, and I know I don't want to offend the religious people. This is the new Bible of network marketing. It's the other book you need to have beside your bed, and read from time to time in it. Do a couple of pages, go through it, and then this is important, the system, but also the follow-up is. Now, you might have heard already, for some of you that looked into a business presentation, and I hope we can set up a business presentation the way I do them with my slides, because they're a little bit different than the ones we use, the standard from the company. There are already, a little bit different. I add a little bit of flavor to it because I think it's important. But most people say, yeah, but in those presentations, you are talking mainly about the biggest pack. When people sign up, there is a basic pack in Zinzino, an advanced pack, and there is an ultimate pack. And the ultimate pack is the most expensive one. It costs around $1,200, $1,150, $1,200. And they asked me many times, but why are you pushing the sales of that pack? And I said, well, we're not pushing it. It's for you the most expensive pack, but that's because you don't know yet what it offers. It's actually a free pack. The small one, the basic and the advanced pack, there is no reimbursement campaign. The biggest pack has a reimbursement campaign. So if you, at the end of the 12th month of your activity, qualify with a minimum, which is 25 customer points and 125 credits in a month, thanks to your personal customers, you get your money back, the complete amount. Or Zinzino gives you the choice of getting 2 ultimate packs of products, which is about $7,000 in products value. So you can choose reimburse me after a year, send me the 1,150 back on my bank account, or send me $7,000 of products. Most of my people choose the $7,000 because, when you get those for free, and we're on a recording, I'm not going to explain you, but when you get those products for free, they're 100%, value. Pretty important. So the other thing why we talk about the ultimate pack, it's gets you through the ranks faster. And when we come to the fast start, you will see that. But it also has 10 tests. The 10 tests to duplicate the system are the most important weapons. They are your tools. Those tests are made to circulate. And now what most people think is when they get their ultimate pack, it costs an $1,150. It's $3,400 in retail value. Well, when I sell those products, I made 60% profit. Yeah, that's true. Probably 65%. But the idea is not to sell those products. Those are products to use. These are free tools because you're going to get your money back. It's not you who pay them at the end of 12 months. It's Zinzino who has offered them to you because they reimburse you the money and you could have given them away. And we train our people. We crack the code a little bit because not everybody inside Zinzino is doing it this way. But we crack the code that we don't tell people to sell the test and the oil to a person or a prospect. We tell them to give them away in a certain way so you recuperate something out of it. And we will come to that conversation. Now, why 10 tests? Just look at the numbers. You will have heard the saying, network marketing is a numbers game. Well, if you have 10 tests available in the ultimate pack, the UPK, with the knowledge that 79% of the population will fail the test, you are sure that 9 out of 10, if you hand them to people, you circulate them, you use them as samples, which you guys are good at. I know that you sample a lot. Well, if you sample that test to somebody with the right conversation, you do that with 10 people, 9 are going to come back red failed. So that means 9 people need a solution now. And or they are going to become your customer on subscription, or they are going to become your partner. Now imagine that from the 9 people that come back to you, 5 want to be in the business. And they start with an ultimate pack, like yourself. That means now you're going to have 50 tests going out to new people. And from those 50 tests, 45 or more are going to come back red failed. 45 people need a solution. Imagine though, from those 45, only 20 sign up as a distributor. And they take the ultimate pack, 200 tests go out, 180 come back. Do you catch it? How you duplicate this? In 3 to 6 months, circulating the test. And I will explain you the conversation to use so you can recuperate them. You won't lose them. You just advance them. But circulating the test within 3 to 6 months, you can build a team from 200 up to 1,000 people, partners and customers combined. Now, why do I so sure about these numbers? Zinzino published last week or 2 weeks ago a study that was done over many years of 590,000 people. It's published in medical magazines. It's the biggest study ever done on omega-3 deficiency. And it shows that 97% is out of balance. Doesn't have enough omega-3 in their body. And as you know, omega-6 and omega-3, we don't produce it. We consume it, but not in balance. We eat more red meat than fish. We eat more fried food than healthy food. So that's why the omega-3 has such a deficiency. But the thing is also that with those tests, we can show before and after that what we are offering is helping people. And the other thing is, I have now more than 20,000, 2 years, I have more than 20,000 customers on subscription, in the team. For some, that might not sound a lot, but you will see that's a pretty nice number to have 20,000 customers on subscription. Sven, who is 3 years in the business, has now 80,000. It jumps exponentially. But just to give you an idea, do you know how many people had a good test on the more than 20,000 we tested in my team? So we have 20 plus thousand people on subscription. Of course, we tested more people. Do you have an idea on more than 20,000 people being tested the last 2 years, thanks to our team, how many were green or in balance? I can tell you, two. I have seen two good tests with over more than 20,000 people being tested. I'm waiting for the third one. Maybe somebody of Truvy, will send me a test that they are in balance. But what I've seen so far, it hasn't motivated me that will happen soon. Like myself, I was consuming so many products for over 40 years and my test was dramatic. And all my test results. So even Derek, Alice is writing it. I didn't say it, so now I can say it. Derek was 33 or 34 to 1. That's like a top score. But, in the opposite direction. I was 18 to 1. And I felt really bad. Barbara was 20 to 1. My daughter, 24. My son, 30 to 1. So the younger the people, the less they take care and the more they are out of a balance. But what we're doing with our activity in network marketing, of course, is we are creating a different system. Creating leverage means that we need also to create a mindset change to people. They need to step away from the linear income way of thinking, which is a job where you work 8 to 10 hours a day for a reduced amount of money, your salary, which is an exchange time for money. And when you stop working or you lose your job, there is no more money. In Europe, we're a little bit, I will say spoiled, because in my country, if you lose your job, there's an unemployment payment. People in Belgium for not working, they get like $1,800 a month for nothing, doing nothing. So there are a lot of people who don't want to work here anymore. They're not motivated because the government so far gives them money. But that will come to an end very soon. And if you have your job, your freedom is limited. You will have to work 34, 35, 40 years to get your retirement. And your retirement is less money than before. In Europe, to give you an idea, in my country, Belgium, we are taxed 50% of our income. So everybody who has an income loses 50% of it. And then when you're, let's say, a government worker, an employee, or a teacher, when you get your retirement, they take another 40% away. So they tell you you could retire in luxury and enjoy your retirement when you're 70 years old. Finally, you will have the time to travel with your wife and your kids and your grandchildren, but you will have to do it with another 40% cut. Wow. Now what we do is building networks, and the richest people in the world build networks. Robert Kiyosaki said that. I think President Trump said that one time, when he got to know what network marketing is all about. Do the job one time, do it really well, and keep being paid. Some countries, they don't allow us to talk residual income. Some countries, we can't say passive income, but everybody understands what it means, royalties. It's a job done. And when the job is done, once, the money keeps coming in. Yesterday night, I give you an example. Yesterday night, I went to bed around 2-ish. I woke up 20 to 7 this morning, so that's a period of 4 hours. And I had almost 10,000 credits more in my back office in those 5 hours. So that means that somebody was working, and I made money while sleeping for one time, and that's a good feeling. But it's 2, 3, 5, 10 years hard work to enjoy financial freedom afterwards. I always use the same example because I think that's one of the songs that everybody knows in America as well. It's a French guy who created a hit in the 70s, end of the 70s. That song is used in so many wedding parties. It's called Born to Be Alive. Have you ever heard that song, Born to Be Alive? The guy who sang it was called Patrick Hernandez. He made one hit wonder. born to be alive, in the late 70s. He is still living from the royalties of that one song. I heard that every month his bank account is getting 30, 40, 50,000 euros of royalties because they are using that song, on radios, television programs, movies. They're playing it all over. They download it. And he keeps being paid because he did one thing very good. Musicians have that. Book writers have that. Filmmakers have that. And that's what we are offered. Because where do you find otherwise a unique system, so good, scientifically proven, a concept with before and after analysis, a concept that proves that we solve a problem that the world has 97% of the population, and we bring them in balance in 120. This is the biggest opportunity I've ever heard of in my career. I started in weight loss, and I told that story. I was laughing to many people. When I was in weight loss, sometimes we had a coffee in the afternoon or an ice cream sitting outside in the sun, and we watched the people passing by. And everybody, every time we saw somebody overweight, we said, wow, another one. We got motivated. Look how much potential we have because 5 people out of 10 walking by needed our product. Well, here we don't need to look at anybody. When you step outside of your door in America or wherever you live, Canada or wherever you live today, and you go left and you knock 100 doors, there's 97 people that need you. If you go right instead of left, you knock 100 doors, 97 people need you. When you go straight ahead, if there is a street, 97% of all the doors need you. They just don't know it. But what is so difficult is get the conversation going. You've all been trained over years to do sample packs for weight loss and other products. How do you change the conversation to omega-3? To a balance between omega-6-3 where nobody has heard of, like myself included 2 years ago. Well, we all know how to start a conversation. What's the latest series on Netflix that is really capturing your attention? I ask that sometimes because when I travel on an airplane, I download a lot of movies and series and documentaries. So I like the new stuff. Sometimes I ask my friend, what are you watching? But how do you start omega-3? Well, in my presentations on Business Tuesdays for new prospects, we give people the facts. Today, more than 500 million people around the world consume already omega-3. We're not alone. So you could really ask in any conversation if people already use omega-3. And there will people saying, yes, I do. And then I say, wow, that's great because so you know the importance of omega-3 already. And then wait, because I was consuming omega-3 and I didn't know why. I bought it from a competitive company. We didn't have it in our range of products, omega-3. So I bought it from another network marketing friend who sold omega-3 because I heard it was important. But I never digged into it. What an impact has omega-3 in my body on a cellular level. So it's not when you ask people if they already consume omega-3, and then the second question, when they say yes, ask them, oh, so you know the importance and what it does in your body. You will see that many people have no clue. They just buy it because they saw a publicity, they read something in a magazine, and they didn't pay attention. And then you say, well, I know what it does in your body. I can give you some idea. But what we need to find out if the omega-3 that you are consuming is really having an impact and an effect on a cellular level in your body. Because many omega-3s, especially powders and capsules, don't work. They don't have enough effect. And then you will see people looking, yeah, but how can I know that? Well, there's a simple test. It's called the balance test omega-6-3. And we will find out immediately if you are not throwing money away. Expensive PP, we call it, because if your omega-3, that mine costed me $60, a bottle for the capsules, had no effect at all, well, that's $60 I throw away every month when they don't have an effect. When people, and I go a little bit back in the story, when people, say, oh, I have no idea omega-3, I don't consume it yet, why should I? Well, in our weekly presentations, we tell people about the dangers being out of balance and what an impact it has on your health and what it could create and which health issues and diseases are directly linked to a deficiency of omega-3. This is not us talking. This is PubMed. This is Mayo Clinic studies. This is Harvard studies that you will find and the impact of not having enough omega-3 in your body. So when you give those, let's call it, unique selling propositions to people why they should consume omega-3. I always tell them, but yeah, maybe you're consuming a lot of other vitamins that are healthy. Let's find out if everything you're taking today has an impact. And then we get it to the test again. So you won't waste more money. I was doing a training for the Dutch team this morning, and in Europe, I don't know if you have a nationality in your side of the world, America or Latin America, that is called a little bit, how do you say it, uh, cranky. They don't like to spend money. The Dutch, the Scottish people are pretty known. They turn around every dime 3 times before they spend it. When you go to drink a beer with a guy from Holland, make sure you have money with you because he will never pay it or offer it. The Scottish are the same. Well, they don't like to throw away money. And even some people, when they don't immediately react on the health issue, when you talk about losing money, everybody's sensible for this. Who wants to throw away money? If somebody says to me, well, I might be throwing away money, but should I really do this test? I say, listen, I'm going to give you my bank account. Just wire me the money if you like to throw it away. You don't need to spend it on vitamins that don't work. So just sponsor me. That's when people change. So, when we do this conversation and they say, yeah, how can I find out? Well, there is a simple test. It's called the balance test. And listen, I'm going to make you a deal. And that's where I do the pitch in my conversation. I'm going to make you a deal. I'm going to advance you this test for free. So it's not going to cost you any money. And on top, I'm going to give you a small bottle of oil, 100 milliliters, to start consuming. As soon as you've done the test, you start taking the oil. And immediately the people will say, yeah, but hey, I haven't got my report yet. Who knows? I don't need that oil. I said, most of the people do. So if you do, you will take a head start, because when you get your report result back 2 weeks later, you might find out that like 97% of the world population, you're out of balance, you needed this. So if you start right away taking the product, and I'm offering you this little bottle, you have a head start of 10 days. Is that a deal? With one gentleman's agreement. If your report comes back and it's red, you're out of balance, you're not 3-1, 2-1, or 1-1, you're going to become my customer, or maybe we need to talk business. Can we agree on that? And we shake hands. And they are thinking, my God, that's a good deal. I haven't spent any money. This test normally costs $125 if you buy it like that. The product on its own, the small bottle, is like $20. Well, I have nothing to risk because my report is going to be good. That's what everybody thinks. And I say, well, you give me your word. Your report is here. It's red. Let's get you signed up. And the people say, yeah, because they are often in shock of the results, of the consequences. And what happens then is when you sign up the customer on a subscription the first time on a premium pack, there is a little section where you can flag off, send the first test back to my sponsor. So what happens is that when you sign up that customer and you have advanced the first test, you flag off the test and you will recuperate your test. You won't recuperate a small bottle of oil. That's $20. That's in good faith given. That's offered to help the people. But you will recuperate your test. And as long as you keep doing that, with 10 people, the test keeps coming back. You don't lose them. You keep them circulating. And that is what's going to build your numbers. Now, like I said, we have a presentation system. Today in Europe, in some languages, we use all of them. In some languages, we only do 2 parts of them. It depends on the quantity of people and how fast you're building your team. We have sizzle sessions, I call them, on Monday evening. Some teams require us to be a special guest, to give them new information, motivate them, recognize new people that qualified, get the energy flowing, and do a small, call of 30 minutes. I saw Big Al for the next trainings on one of the slides, and I think I have all the books of Big Al. I did the first MLM cruises with him in the 90s, and they call it sizzle sessions, fire session to keep the motivation in your team. The Tuesdays, we have the business opportunity meeting. Wednesday, 1 week, we have Beauty Week, where we talk about collagen boost, anti-aging. The other week, we train people on the back office or on social media. The Thursday, we have product training. That means we have a doctor as a guest speaker, or we have a therapist. We do so many things. In France, this whole setup is done. That's the only language so far besides German where it runs completely. And then on Saturday, we have the Super Saturdays, the training that I'm doing with you now, to get people their mind fixed, to tell them what conversation they need to have to talk about omega 3. And the most important thing, how to invite people to the next presentation. Because when there's one thing I learned from my mentor, Jim Rohn, in my first 8 years, is that there is nothing so important than to be in the presence of the prospect. Now, in the good old days, that meant somebody was sitting in front of you and you were having a coffee or a drink together or a lunch, and you were talking business and doing a presentation with these little flip overs. Later on, it became laptops and tablets. Now it's often a Zoom. But you need to get people invited. And what helped me, you can learn and sit in all those sections until you're ready enough to do them themselves. So the people that don't feel comfortable yet to be part of the presentation system, of the training system, you don't have to be. I was not a part of the training presentation system for the first 6 to 8 months when I joined network marketing. I was not a speaker. I was a soccer player, a football player. And I was absolutely not somebody you put in front of a crowd to talk. That was not me. That changed completely. But the most important part, and if you're not able to do this, you don't have a business, is how to invite people. How to invite people by phone, how to invite people by chat, how to invite people when you run into them. And most people think it's talking. Blah, 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 blah. It's talking. It isn't. It's a technique. It's a process. And that's when you're going to have much more conversion of people showing up. Now, there's 4 steps in any invite strategy. The first step, if you're on the phone or you're running to somebody in the supermarket or wherever in a restaurant, you're in a hurry. You only have a few minutes or a minute. That's the first thing I tell everybody. I only have a minute. So what happens in the brain of your prospect? Oh, it won't take much time. Danny talking to me, he only has a minute, so let's listen. If I don't say that, they might think, oh, Danny's going to talk 20 minutes. I don't have that time. And they're already shutting down the blinds. Now, the second thing is I give them a compliment. I say something very positive. Listen, Angel, is this new glasses you're wearing? Because this one looks really nice on your face. It makes your eyebrows come out and, it sits good on your nose. Really? Now, Angel really starts to feel really good because she don't always hear those compliments. I'm sure Ryan gives a few every day, but not everybody gives those compliments. And she opens her mind completely, listening to me with a new energy. And then I do the invite. And I have 3 ways of inviting people. The first one is what I call a direct invite. And that's when I say, Angel, I have something for you. You told me last time you really wanted some more time out to go walk the dogs and take them to nice places, and your job doesn't allow you to do that enough. I have something for you. Now, I have told everything and nothing to her. I have something for you. And she will say, yeah, what is it? Well, listen, I don't have much more time, but are you available Tuesday evening at 8:30? Do you have half an hour, 40 minutes for me? And she will say, yeah, you triggered my interest, of course. Well, I will send you a link. Let's log in Tuesday evening and let's talk afterwards. So I did the confirmation and I reserved the seat for her in the Zoom. Now, step back. Indirect invite. Instead of direct, I have something for you. I have a different approach. Right? I'm going to look for advice. I'm going to ask for her help. I'm looking for her support, assessment. I want your opinion, Angel. I have something and I want your opinion. Can you help me out? Now Angel feels good because Danny values Angel's opinion as important. And she said, of course, yeah. What is it about? Well, are you available Tuesday evening, 8:30? Now, what happens if she isn't available? I'm going to try to get her to a product presentation on Thursdays. If that doesn't work because she's playing padel or tennis Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to try to meet personally with her if we don't live too far from each other. And if that doesn't work, I said, listen, no problem. Can I send you 2, 3 small videos of 3, 4 minutes? You have a look at them whenever you're free, and let's arrange a date when I can call you that you're sure you have looked at the videos. Now, everybody likes looking videos. We all are on TikTok, Reels, Instagram, Facebook. Now, 3, 4 videos of 3 minutes, that's not asked too much. and I go out, do the follow-up after the videos. Now, the third way of inviting people is the one that I use the most. It's for the people that have already had some success. Maybe they're already a little bit ego driven. They want to be recognition. They are in a management position. They drive the nice car. They have a beautiful house, a beautiful family. They have money in the bank. And what I say to most of those people is, listen, Todd, this is not for you, Todd. I was wondering if you knew someone who could help me, who fits the profile. Now, I've said everything and nothing to Todd. I said, it's not for you. So Todd feels safe. I'm not going to try to sell him a bottle of vitamins. You know, then he's not going to get money out of my pocket. And he feels released. He said, phew, I'm off the hook. But I asked if he knew, and I'm more sure that he knew a person that could fit the profile, what I'm looking for. So he feels in one way honored that he could know somebody. So I value his opinion again. I think I put him more higher than myself. He feels good about it. And he says, of course, maybe I know somebody, but I need to know first what it's about. Well, that's exactly why I just spoke to you. I don't have much time left, but are you available, Tuesday evening, Thursday evening? Can we meet for a coffee together next time? Because now I don't have any more time. And we book the appointment. And then I do the confirmations. Now, what I always do is when I have confirmed people and I have them on listings, I send them on Monday a small text message or a chat message. See you tomorrow, 8:30, so they don't forget it, a little reminder. And I do the same thing on Tuesday lunchtime. See you tonight at 8, as we discussed. I will be looking really pleased to see you for this, this short presentation, and I'm looking forward to the person you might know that could be the right profile for me. That's all I do. And I have a big turnout in people because I do it that way. It's not just talking. It's doing the right strategic sense. An invite like that only costs 2 minutes. 2-3 minutes of your time, you're out of it. Done. You have them invited. And to be honest, in network marketing, if you can't invite people, you have no business. If you're unable to invite and put somebody in front of you or in front of somebody who's going to do the speech, you don't have a business. Jim Rohn said to me, you could be the best speaker on the planet. You could be the best expert on the compensation plan and you're going to do your training. But when the room is empty, it doesn't mind. Doesn't matter. You need to have people. And I was very good in my first year. The company everybody knows was Herbalife. I was very good in those days. Internet didn't exist. Mobile phones didn't exist. But I was a very good taxi driver. I filled up my car every Tuesday to drive to Antwerp to a presentation. I filled up my car every Thursday to drive to Brussels for a French presentation and bring prospects with me. So my best game of cards was invite people. Trigger them, tease them, put them in your car and put the music loud and sing. And don't answer questions in the car. So that was my way, because when you have to drive an hour to a presentation, people start to ask questions in the car. How do you avoid that? Well, play some games. Who is the singer of this song? Another one, another one. Oh, we arrived in Antwerp. Thank you. Now you're going to hear everything. So the same is with the Zoom. Don't give up information, because as soon as you give up information, people are going to Google. They're going to find there's an opinion. They're going to look even for competitive products. They don't know anything about what the issue is yet, and they're already lost. Now, you need to do follow-up. And follow-up you can do with questions. Anybody asking me a difficult question, I say, and Sven teach me this, can I send you a video? People love to watch videos. And the duplication is so easy. Because if you get a difficult question about the products, probiotics, can I send you a video? That's easier. They already did the work at Zinzino. There's 300 hours of videos, trainings, presentations, teasers. Everything is recorded. Now, the next thing is get them registered. Because the purpose of our talks and our presentations is the test. And I put this quote on because I really love this quote. The purpose of education is to replace an empty mind with an open one. That's exactly what we're doing with the test, with the Zinzino test. But, when you want to attract, and I don't need to teach any of you that, but when you want to attract, customers, and we need those PCP points, I'm going to come to that when I talk about the fast start. there's normally a pipeline, you know, attract customers. Well, to attract customers, you need to look for the need to solve a problem. Now, we don't need to look for that need. We know it. 97% of the people is out of balance. So we are already a step ahead. What we need to do is find the motivation or the desire for them to do the test. And that could be health, or that could be stop throwing away money on vitamins and omega 3s that don't work. That could be their motivation. And we're going to help them, show them the advantages of being in balance, engage them in the sale, and then close the sale is asked to do them the test. We don't sell, we ask if they want to know, if they want to find out. And as soon as they have done the test, you stay connected with people. I put them mainly in a group of customers on WhatsApp or on Telegram, where everybody publishes testimonials and test results. And so people get information streaming, because if you use during your follow-up period and while they are waiting for a report, if you feed them more stories, positive things of people, they are waiting for that report. They want to have it. And when they have a bad report, they want to go on the product immediately. And satisfied customers is money in the bank. Now, what are we doing in network marketing? We sell products, and we serve and support our customers. We recruit and expand the team and support them. And then finally, we duplicate process 1 and 2. So selling, support and serve customers. We recruit and we expand and train the team, support the team, and then we repeat the process. That's what we're doing. And I created, excuse me, I created my own DMO. I call it my circle of activity. I work with 72 hours plans. You know, I have documents made. I will show them you. I will send them to Derek and to all the leaders or everybody who wants to work with them. I use them daily, but I work with 72-hour plans. But what is important is that you need to take a new person across the circle as fast as you can. That means from the name list, sorting the name list, to prospecting, who is on top, start calling the people, inviting the people for a presentation, Business Tuesday, Product Thursday, LOA is the law of attraction in blue marine. So the law of attraction is prospection and inviting. Presentation is Business Tuesday, BT, or Products Thursday. When people came to the presentation, you're going to do the follow-up the right way, the right conversation, or videos, and answer all the questions. And then you're going to onboard them. Onboarding for us is do the test, you know, or sign up as a distributor. If they sign up as a distributor, then you invite them to Super Saturdays, the training we are now running, where we will talk them a little bit mental, where we will tell them the story they have about omega-3, how to do an invitation. These, for me, are the 2 things people need to learn. How to talk about the test and how to invite them, so that experts do the rest. And that's how you will start to duplicate with the ultimate packs. And then on Monday evening, when they have been to a training, they have been working 24 hours already with their name list, with prospects. We're going to put them in a sizzle fire conversation where somebody speaks about their results, about their first far start, their first $400 they made, their first $1,200 they made, so that people get really excited. And what are they doing? Well, they're adding more names to their name list. They're sorting them out, and that's a training on its own, and they restart the circle. And when somebody has been around that circle where we have a system and documents to help them, they have done immediate action, they invited people, and even if the people they invited aren't immediately like the top producers, just the result of having somebody in the meeting is a success. You know, it makes you feel good because it will, you know, it will cut down those emotional waves that a networker is on, from positive to negative, from positive to negative. As long as you keep running the circle, which is a very easy thing to do, you're gonna score. Now, I also, you know, propose to people a lot of things. I tell them to talk to 5 people a day, send 3 videos a day, publish 3 stories on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok a day. Don't always only publish business, you know. Do a walk in the park with your dog, your kids. I'm eating a spaghetti bolognese or drinking a good beer or whatever it is. You know, do a mix of publications so your algorithms keeps running. People love to see diversity because at the end they're all spies. They all put their nose in your life and they want to see everything, you know. But if you're only putting business, you're going to bore them very rapidly. So copy even funny videos, you know, like you see on television, you know, those jokes, copy funny videos and put that on in between. And people will come back. But invite also 5 people every week to a Zoom. 5 new guests to a Zoom. Imagine, I don't know how many people we are, 92. If all of you invite 5 people this coming Tuesday, the last day of the month, we would have a presentation for 500 people. Can you imagine? A Zoom for 500 people? If all of us would get 5 people in the room. Now, is it difficult to get 5 people in the room? No, it isn't. It's 3 minutes times 5. If you do the invitation the right way, which takes you 3 minutes a person, and you do that with 10 people, well, maybe 5 will be there. Maybe 3. Follow up with the candidates the way I explained you, and don't forget anybody. I didn't forget about Derek. You know, I met Derek 20 years ago, 2005, in the head office in Zango in Lehigh. You know, I didn't forget about Derek. I know his father-in-law. I know his mother-in-law, Alexa's mother. I know the people. And I always stayed in contact with some people, you know, and that's how we ended up here. He came back in my focus, you know, because I knew Truvi was a company. I knew Zinzino was looking at companies to partner with. And it's always a personal relationship is better than a cold contact. Now, the other company that I brought in, which is Zelis, I knew the owner as well, but we never met. That was a different story. Derek I've met. I knew what Derek had been doing. The other person, he knew of my reputation and I know of his, and we respected in Europe each other, but we never actually met. But when we started to talk, it made sense. And these documents, those are the documents I work with. This is my 72-hour action plan with new people. I don't want them to make a name list of 100 people. I want them to get 8 names on a piece of paper fast, the next 5 minutes. For the test, I want them to get 8 names on a piece of paper for business. We're going to talk money. And 5 people we're going to contact through social media. That's 21 names. And those 21 names we're going to contact in the next 72 hours. Because those people we want to get to a presentation. And the name list, I have them here. You know, I have these, like, I'm like an old school guy. I have these color pens, you know, and I call them my hit list. These are my hit list. These are all people I'm following at the moment, 128 people. Some of them I'm following them since 6 months, since a year, since 2 years, since I've joined Zinzino. And every 3 months, some every 6 weeks, every 6 months, I'm back to them to see if their situation didn't change, you know. And when my papers are full, Angel, I put them on an envelope. I got a bill. So the back of that envelope from the bill I need to pay is white. I put more names and I will add them to my list. This is my daily method of operation. Now, these documents will help you to organize your activities better. You don't have to do them. I do a special training on the left one, on that 72 action plan. I have a special training on that one, how to use it and how to put targets for yourself on it and make sure you do them. But what I also talk to people, and now we're going to come to what might be the most important part, is the fast start, is that learn to read, learn to drive the right behavior. That's what you need to do. You know, your back office of Zinzino is like a dashboard of a nice Ferrari. You know, you need to just follow what is up there. Do what is requested. We don't ask you to understand the engine of the Ferrari to drive it. That's going to take time. By the way, I always love that example. If you buy a new Ferrari, you know, the latest brand model, Sven bought one a couple of months ago, the last one, incredible car. He said, you know, Danny, I can't even open the hood anymore. They don't allow us when there is a problem to open the hood because it's such an expensive car that they are afraid we would do some damage on the engine, trying to fix it ourselves. We're not engineers. We're not mechanical people. So what I do is drive the car. And I know damn good how to drive the car. But if you ask me something about the engine, I don't understand it. Do you need to understand the engine to drive it? No, you don't. Do you need to understand the compensation plan to make money in Zinzino? No. not the first month, because they created something which is called the fast start to make it easy for you. And in those four first months, you will learn enough to continue. Now, you need to know a little bit of terminology. First of all, you are used, I suppose, volume points before. In my previous company, it was called volume. In Zinzino, it's called credits. Our Zinzino internal currency is credits. That's where you get paid on. Now, before we really get into the nitty gritty things of things, credits are also known as volume in some companies. But, every product has credits. That's as simple as that. Some products have 3 credits, other have 4, other have 5. I haven't looked at the Truvi products yet, how much credits each product has, but that's what you will be paid on, not on dollars or on euros. The second thing, very important, is personal customer points, PCP. You will see that in the comp plan training. Personal customer points is every customer you put on a subscription with a product is 1 point. If a person on subscription takes the health protocol of Zinzino, 3 products, and he adds another one, 4 products, that's 4 points. And you will see you need 4, 10, 25. Now, ECB is easy. It's an enrollment credit bonus. This is each new enrollment pack, each new pack that a new distributor buys you guys to get started has value. And in the first 4 months, it doubles for you. So every pack, if it's the basic, the advanced, or the ultimate, you get double credits in the first 4 months. And on the credits, you're paid commission. And RCB stands for recurring credit bonus. What is RCB? That's all the other orders, recurring orders, not new enrollments. So subscriptions are recurring orders. And if you hit a certain level, RCB is doubled. For me, for example, when I sell a bottle in Europe of phycocyanin, one of the great products we have over here, well, this phycocyanin has 4 credits. Well, I get 8 credits because I have a duplicator, a multiplicator on RCB. When you hit a certain rank, all your recurring order credits are doubled. So you get double commission. So this is important when you look at the compensation plan. You will see all those terminologies pop up and you will get it in time. Don't worry. The system of Zinzino is truly simple. Simple. It's called 2 plus 4. What do I need to do? I tell people it's 2 plus 4. So what is 2 plus 4? Well, you are going to be guided the first 120 days, the fast start period. And you will see those dashboard in your back office. You click on fast start in your back office and you will see those donuts. And in the beginning, they're all red. And you need to color them green. Like my little boy of soon 4, he loves to color. Well, if I explain to him, these donuts are now red, you need to color them green, he's going to do that. Well, it's the same with you. When you're going to move the mouse of your computer over those donuts, they're going to tell you what is missing, what to do. And the first thing you need to do, well, is qualify QT. You have a month to do that. You need to get 4 PCP, personal customer points. So 4 products on subscription. That could be 4 customers that order 1 bottle on subscription. That could be 1 person that orders 4 products on subscription. Actually, what we do is it's yourself. So you, as soon as you're signed up as a distributor and you have access to your back office, you are going to create a customer account for yourself with your name. Because all the products that you need for your family or friends to give for Christmas and give away, you're not going to order them on your distributor ID. Because you don't get paid on the products that you order on your distributor ID. But the products that you order on your customer ID, they, first of all, get you PCP points and you get paid commission on them. So the first thing we tell people, and that's 30 minutes after they sign up, is create your customer account. Sign up on the health protocol, 3 products, add Viva Plus or take 4 or 5 products of the Truvi, and activate those 4 PCP. The moment you activate yourself with 4 PCP as a customer, you will see in your back office donut number 1 being colored. You are qualified and you will get a $115 bonus because 100 euros is $1.15. It's $115 bonus. And you will get also 10% on the billing amount of your order as a margin. So actually, it will cost you around $120, those 4 PCP, and you will get it back already by the bonus you make. So it's for free. Second step, 30 days more, 60 days time, recruit 2 people like yourself with an ultimate pack, preferable. Can you recruit people with a small pack? Of course. With an advanced pack, of course. But with an ultimate pack, it goes much faster. If you sign up 2 people with a UPK, 2 new people, you're going to get 400 euros, which is about $460 commission. Like that. The next minute, second donut filled. Third donut, 90 days time. You have 90 days to help those 2 people to get 2, to duplicate 2 plus 4. So if they sign up, each of them, the 2 like you did, to get their $460, you will get your $1,300 plus dollars, 1,200 euros. Like that. Third, and then the next one, increase your 4 customer points to 10. Now, Angel has done that all in 4 days. I think that's the fastest I have ever seen in my organization anyway. But you have 4 months to do it. You can do it in 3 months. You can do it in a month. We teach people mainly over here to do it in 14 days, 2 weeks. But if you can teach people how to do it in 4 days, that's even better, But if people do that, they earn around 1,850 euros. And I take my calculator in dollars. That means $2,125. That's what you make if you color those first donuts green. Now imagine you just got involved in Zinzino thanks to this partnership. Imagine that in the next 3-4 days, in the next week paycheck is next Thursday, because we finish the week at Wednesday evening, European time, midnight, 8 o'clock, we close the back office for more, recruitment, and then we calculate 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. But Thursday, the new week start. Imagine that next week's Thursday, because of people ordering in your team already a pack, or you signing up new people with a pack, imagine that you color some of these donuts already green. Imagine you color them all green like Angel. If you would go out to people and said, since we started with Zinzino after the partnership with Truvi, I've made in my first week $2,200 in my first week. Would you be interested to have a look at this opportunity? It's amazing. I tell you, a lot of people are going to do that. Now, how does it look visually? Just one more repeat. You sign up as a distributor. You're all signed up. Now you need to activate your position. You do that with a starter pack. You have 3 income centers. We're going to do some trainings on that as well, on the compensation plan, strategically. But we're going to help you. You need to activate your own subscription. That's most of the people take 1 product, 1 bottle. I took the oil, my first month, as a subscription product. I activated Zinzino for free. What does that mean? That I say I want to receive my product for free if I'm qualified. I only paid September 2023 my product. 1 month. Since October 2023, I have never paid my Zinzino product on subscription again. I have Zinzino for free. I brought in the customers and my products are for free. And if you subscribe to more products and you bring in more customers, you're going to get more than 1 product for free. I only get my bottle of oil for free because all my other orders are done on my customer account. But Zinzino for free exists also for your customers. If a customer says, I would love to have my product for free because I'm a little bit short on money, well, bring me some referrals. If you bring me 4, 5, 6 referrals, you will have your product for free. You don't have to pay it anymore. So we have a referral marketing program and a network marketing program. And it combines, it's a complete synergy. Now, once you've done that and you create your 4 first points, 100 euro bonus Q team. You recruit 2 people with a UPK, 400 euro bonus. They recruit 2 people each, 1,200. You increase the 4 points to 10, another 150. 1,850 euros, that's $2,200. But there is more. By doing the fast start, you are putting the building blocks to success in place. Because you will not only be Q team and X team, you also will hit bronze and silver position. And some months, like triple credit months, you will might even get gold position doing the 2+4. So you will make a team bonus on the binary plan, the balance volume. You will make a mentor bonus because if you bring a person on the left and the right to bronze and you bring a person on the left and the right to silver, you're making rank up bonuses. So the amount that you will make is more closely going to be around $3,000 for succeeding the fast start than 2,000. So who would like to make $3,000 by next Thursday? I see Lyle already waving. I see Todd. Yep, he's under a palm tree, but he wants to make the 3,000. So everybody wants to make the 3,000. Now the advantage you have, guys, is that most of you don't need to build the 2+4. The migration of Truvy put them in place. Now what you need to do is just be active with your people and make sure they activate their position, their pack. And you know that the enrollment points from the people existing in the migration are only half, so you will have to do a little bit more to get the money. But if you recruit new people with the pack, then the enrollment points are not cut in half, they are fully aware, and you will have that money fast. Now, it's up to you how fast you want to go. Use the trainings with your team. This is the quickest way to become independent, run the system, put them in presentations, get invitations, and then plan, make a goal. For me, the fast start action plan, go Q team, go X team, is the best example. Angel showed the way already for her people. She did it in 4 days. But if you want to get executive, if you want to do platinum, if you want to do diamond, to have also every month the car bonus of $1,200 besides the telephone bonus, you need to plan, you need to structure, you need to set goals, you need to work with your people. That's networking. If you want to become a leader, we're talking director level, you know, the Bali trip, you have another month to qualify for Bali next year, become a crown, become a royal crown. Well, then we're really going to work. Then we're going to do much more than just presentation. We're going to do strategy trainings and everything. Now, network marketing is team working, but we all have to do the numbers. I was lucky in my first year in network marketing to meet a gentleman that was called Larry Thompson. You know, one of the most cool blokes I ever met in my life, Larry Thompson. Some of you might have heard of him. And he told me, and you know, I come from the countryside in Belgium. The village where I was living had 900 people when I met network marketing. So if you think you need to live in a big city to make it in network marketing, you know, I'm the opposite proof. I lived in the countryside, 900 people. I had 0 international contacts. I knew only the people that were living around the church, you know, because everything was circled around the church in our village. But I learned from Larry Thompson the terminology of Sinaloa. I didn't know but then it was a city existing in Mexico. I've been there. You know, you don't need to go on holiday there, actually today, you know, Sinaloa. But I didn't know it was a city. But it stands for safety in numbers and the law of average. It means that when you do the numbers, you know, you will get the results. They will start to tumble. Now, we have the best numbers ever. 97% of the people need us. 95% will get help in 120 days. 9 out of 10 people that do the test will become your customer or your partner, depending on the conversation you have. And I'm going to talk retention, because that's some of the numbers I got from Hildy, you know, Arjen's wife. 7 out of 10 people that did the test and go on subscription, they stay customers for more than 2 years minimum. So if you want to build a portfolio of existing customers, do the test. Make sure and do it until you are ready. Think about the numbers again we've shown you. Zinzino is the perfect balance between network marketing, direct sales, social media selling, referral marketing. It has everything. We are on a target to do 1 million customers by the end of this year. Now, 1 million subscribed customers, most of you think, well, all the big network marketing companies have that. I can tell you that's not true. Most of the big network marketing companies, they have distributors consuming, auto consuming. They don't have really a lot of outside customers. People sell to them, but they're not often on a subscription. So I can tell you probably the companies that have 1 million customers on subscription, maybe 10, maybe 15, not more. And I'm talking historical companies. Now we are aiming to do 20 million customers on subscription by 2035. Now listen very carefully. If a subscription has an average of $50, more or less, take it or leave it, and you have 20 million, that means you're doing 10 billion a year. Which company today in network marketing is doing 10 billion a year? None. There used to be one company that one time was there called Amway. They're now around 7 billion. But Orion and Hilde and me and Sven, we are convinced that this company is so special. They dare to talk about big numbers because it's customer consumption. And we will do the 20 million subscribed customers 10 years from now. And we will be the number one company. And Orion even doesn't stop at 20 million. His target is 100 million customers 25 years from now. He's only 50. Hilde is a younger. So they will be approaching retirement when that happens. But they have already 3 kids. The younger generation is already waiting. You know, we have younger kids. Some of you have kids. Don't we want to build something that is generational? You know, people that talk about doing 40 billion a year turnover, when the big companies today are doing 5, 6, 7, the biggest ones, we are talking 40 billion. And, you know, I have goosebumps talking about it. I have never been in 34 years so convinced that there is a company doing it, they will hit it. Now, don't waste time. You know, if you think on your best month ever, you know, think about how much you were making, your best month ever. It had 30 or 31 days. It also had 24 hours a day, and of which you probably were 8 or 10 productive. So 600 minutes a day, you are productive, more or less. Every minute counts. When you hit negative people, next, immediately. Don't even try to convince them. You know, when I was doing so much effort, years and years and years, to keep the conversation going with somebody new because I still wanted to convince them, here I don't do any effort. 97%. You know, what are we talking about? Why would I do an effort? I go to the next door. And I can also recommend you, and we're almost at the end of my presentation, to read this book. I discovered this book, and I have it here next to me. I'm looking to a couple of books here, but I have this book, Blue Ocean Strategy. I don't know if anybody read it, but I can recommend you. It talks about red ocean and blue ocean marketing. Red ocean is where companies try to outperform their rivals to grab a greater share of existing demand. And as the markets get crowded, profits and growth are reduced because they are competing. Products become commodities, leading to a cutthroat or bloody competition. Hence the term red ocean's blood. Zinzino is a true blue ocean company. In blue ocean, competition is irrelevant because the rules of the game aren't even set. A blue ocean is an analogy to describe a deeper potential, you know, and the only limits we have are in our own heads. We or limit ourselves, or we are going to thrive and drive ourselves, you know, and existing markets structures, you know, sometimes they limit their thinking. That's something we have to stop. And the only way you can do it is how much do you want it? You know, how much do you want it? We started this training with the why of a system. But there is also another why, which is even more important. How bad do you want it? We only need to do 3 things. Talk, invite, and ask to take the test. That's easy, right? Well, I'm going to show you a final video. I hope you like this training. Any material that we use is available for you, and enjoy this video.
One day I made a decision that enough is enough. I'm tired of being average. I'm tired. I'm tired of being good. I'm tired. I want to go to the dealership and buy the best car. I want to move to the nicest neighborhood. I want to fly first class. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Australia. I made a decision. Enough is enough. It's showtime. Will a real Eric Thomas please stand up? Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are. You're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you never made a decision. Shh, there are those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go on. You're talented. You just don't want to give up sleep. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it. You love sleep too much. You love that alcohol too much. You love that substance too much. You love that vice too much. There's something that you love more than yourself, than your dreams, than your goals. Watch what happens when you have a goal that only has 2 reasons. See how long that lasts. Watch a goal that has 50 reasons and see how. There's somebody called me the other day on an interview, stupid question. E.T., what do you feel like on the days that you don't feel like? I said, ask the question again, please. Well, what do you do on the days that you don't feel like? So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm way past that. Every day I feel like. Every day I feel like eating. Every day I feel like giving my wife the best life. Every day I feel like driving in a nice car. Every day I feel like flying first class. Every single day of my life, I feel like giving 100%. Every single day. Somebody said yesterday, E.T., you gave 120. What you gonna do tomorrow? I said, I don't know. Get 140. I don't know, but I don't have days where I don't feel like it. Why? Because I'm counting on me. My wife's counting on me. I don't have days to waste. No more 50%, no more. No more 70%, no more. I want us at 85 and climbing. I want you at 85 and climbing. If you're at 80, I want you at 90, and I mean moving rapidly. It's not rocket science. And the universe is not responding to you correctly because your body language sucks. Your spirit sucks. It's defeated. I need you to give me that 120. I need you to give me that everything you do. I need you to start giving me that 120 and everything you do. Bring it all together. Bring all the energy, all the passion, bring it all together and dominate.
So, I hope you liked it. Let's do these trainings every single week. I'm just 1 hour and 30 minutes in the training now. When we started, a little bit more because of the introduction. But you know, network marketing is all about your routines and your habits every single day. And your daily actions either contribute to your goals or they derail and distract you from them. So now is the time to remove all distractions. You can ask the question to Barbara. We took a decision 2 years ago when we joined Zinzino, we would do 365 days of action without any holiday. We quit our holidays. We worked on Christmas Eve, we worked on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day, and we took some days a couple of hours off, but we didn't take 7 days to go to the beach and enjoy. We said 365 days can change our life, and that's what it did. And now it's up to you, and we're going to help you as much as we can with all the languages. My wife has been doing with Renzo already a training 3 hours ago in Spanish. Whatever you need, if it's Italian, Spanish, German, Dutch, French, tell us. You have the whole world to recruit, and we will be helping you along the way. Thank you very much for the invitation, Angel. Thank you, Alex and Derek and all the other leaders. And let's do it together. And I don't know if we have time for question, Angels, or it has been already late. But let's get people activated. Let's order those packs. Make sure you have your tests as fast as you can, because that's what you need to start sharing with the people. Up to
Absolutely.
you.
Danny. Absolutely 100%. I'm going to actually stop the recording. So it's just the training.